Okay, wonderful. So then again, a warm welcome. Thank you for joining. Today we have a bit of a shorter session of 15 minutes, right? We have every 2 weeks, 15 minutes, and then every other week we have 30. And today I want to share a couple of different soothing practices or soothing techniques. So we will do a couple of exercises or a couple of different types of maybe breath work or connecting to ourselves, which should be or it should work as an inspiration for you to pick out the ones that you really enjoy and then maybe bring these into your daily life. So with soothing practices, I mean practices that regulate our nervous system, that relax our body, that help us come back, let's say, to a normal state, where stress, anxiety, nervousness, or maybe also like this spirals of negative thoughts make place for something better. And especially if, right, we have meetings one after the other, or maybe there's an important deadline, or there's a big meeting that kind of makes us a bit anxious, then remember one of these practices that we will do today and bring them in. Even a couple of minutes can really help to downregulate the nervous system. So the first we will do is actually taking a look around the space that we're in. And if you have joined these sessions before, we do this almost at the beginning of every session. And the idea is not just to kind of taking a look around the space that we're in, right? There is an important meaning that it has, which is that, first of all, we orientate ourselves. So we bring ourselves back into the present moment. Remember, okay, right now I'm actually in this space, I'm in this room, and I'm not where my mind is taking me. I'm not in the future. I'm not in some worst case scenario. I'm actually just here and present. And at the same time, using the head, the neck, the shoulders to move, to take a look to the right, left, to the back, the ceiling, or also the floor beneath us, also activates that part of our nervous system that is paying attention and checking if there's any danger, right? And this is how our nervous system unfortunately works, because this really old part of our brain still sometimes thinks, oh, there's a lion behind me that's going to attack me. So moving head, neck, and shoulders has a lot of benefits. And this can also be done even if there are other people around, right? So if at any point you feel a bit anxious or stressed, you can always do this. And remember, okay, I'm here, I'm present, and there's nothing behind me that will actually attack me. And that makes it so much easier to come back into the present moment and maybe even to close the eyes, because you know that there's nothing behind you that would kind of jump on you. But if you notice that closing the eyes takes you into a whole different world or whole different stories, you can always keep them open, but kind of focusing them on the table in front of you, the floor, the wall, something that doesn't move and doesn't distract you. And here I invite you to bring awareness into the body parts that are touching the ground, the floor beneath you. And if you're sitting, most likely will be the soles of your feet. And if your legs are kind of like twisted or on the chair, whatever, the invitation to bring them parallel to the floor, having the soles of the feet touch the shoe, touch the floor underneath you. And you might notice that just by bringing the awareness into the soles of the feet, the connection to the ground, that this is already a very grounding relaxing way of being. Breathing into the soles of the feet, bringing the awareness and attention away from the mind and down, deep down into the body. Sometimes it can also help to wiggle the toes or have the feet kind of move from the edges, the sides of the feet to the back, the heel, and back to the toes. And finding these 4 points that are actually in connection with the ground beneath, right? The right and left side, the heel and the toes. This can really help you to come back into the present moment. And you can keep the eyes closed if that feels good. Sometimes when we get stressed, even too stressed, a bit too anxious, we can move into something that is called a freeze mode. So this would be a mode where it actually is hard to move the body, to actually speak up or say whatever we want to say. Sometimes it can even be hard to get out of bed, or if we're sitting on a chair or the couch, to actually get up and do the next thing we need to do, or move the body at all. So this is what we call a freeze state. And maybe at work in a project, it would look like not being able to progress with whatever we're doing and kind of being stuck with one task that we can just not bring to the end, although it's something easy to do, right? Maybe you remember being in a similar state in the past, and whenever this is the case, remember that it could be a bit like a frozen ice cube, like that your body is in a freeze mode. And then what helps you to get out of it is actually very gentle movement. So instead of trying to like jump up and do the thing, maybe start with a baby step. So that could be like swinging the body from side to side, bringing a bit of movement into the spine. And as if you're very slowly, very gently, patiently coming out of that ice cube, defrosting. Could also help to use the arms, kind of move them very slowly as if you were moving through water or thick sand, you know. Very gentle and soft movements. And so whenever you find yourself in a state of freeze where you cannot get up or you cannot continue with whatever you're doing, think of a baby step, like 1% of this, 1% of movement, a little realistic, achievable task. And here I invite you to also bring your hands to your arms as if you're giving yourself a nice hug, gently squeezing the body. And this can also help And bringing awareness back to the boundaries of your body, right? Caressing the arms, the shoulders, or upper body, giving it a nice tight squeeze. This is a bit as if you're waking yourself up. You can also do that with the rest of the body. Even if you're sitting down, you can do that with the legs, the belly, the hips, the buttocks, the feet, right? You can move along your whole body, kind of gently squeezing it. As a reminder, this is where I start and where the world ends. Or maybe even the opposite, right? This is where I end. The world starts. Did I just say that? So this is the boundary between myself and the rest of the world. And then come back into a comfortable seat and just notice what it does to you to move the body gently, to squeeze it, to bring awareness into all of these techniques that support you to ground yourself. Maybe there's a sensation of calmness right now, of peace, maybe also of noticing that you're tired. That can also happen. And we've finished this off with a breathing exercise. And this is called the humming breath work, or also Brahmari Pranayama. And we will essentially breathe as if we were little bees. So what we do, we inhale through the nose and then exhale, keep the lips slightly sealed together and do a humming or a buzzing sound as if you were a bee. And you will feel the buzzing, the vibration in your face, maybe also in your chest. It can sometimes feel nice to put a hand onto the chest. And this type of breath work is also very soothing because as you will feel, the vibration just feels really nice and stabilizing. But also, if you remember, every time we exhale for a long time, this activates the parasympathetic nervous system, or a nervous system responsible for rest and digest. So every time we take long exhales, this kind of energy is activated, the energy of relaxation, of resting, of digesting. So let's do this together for a couple of rounds. We will inhale through the nose and then exhale with a humming sound. We continue a couple of rounds in our own timing. Let's do one last round together. Gently coming back to the natural rhythm of your breath, maybe relaxing the hands. And taking a moment to integrate what we have done, to feel into the body, feel into the mind. How are you doing right now? What has changed in the last 15 minutes? And then slowly deepening the breath again. Bringing some gentle movement back to the body. And also the way we make it in, use it to make it out, right? Slowly, gently, patiently. Whenever you feel ready to open the eyes, again, take a look around the space that you're in, bringing you back into that room. And whenever you feel ready, you can also come back to the screen and into our virtual meeting. And I hope you feel a bit more relaxed, a bit more nurtured and soothed, and the invitation to take any of these exercises when you need them. Thanks so much for joining.